This video is going to be actually on Romans chapter 7. It's an interesting video, or an interesting book in the Bible. So let's read it first and then discuss it after. We're just going to go to verse 6. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. So then, if while her husband lives, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. Wherefore, my brethren, ye also are become dead to the law by the body of Christ, that ye should be married to another, even to him who is raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit to God. For when we were in the flesh, the motions of sins which were by the law did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death. But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead, wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit and not in the oldness of the letter. This is actually a pretty big deal in Romans chapter 7, because if you remember back in the first 5 books, what the Jews call the Torah, that the law, God gave the law to Moses on Mount Sinai. God gave the law to Moses on Mount Sinai. And did you hear what this just said? For the woman which hath a husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is loosed from that law of her husband. So then when her husband lives, she marries another man, she's called an adulteress. But if her husband dies, she's free from that law, so she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. What Paul's saying here is that it was actually God, it was Jesus that gave them that law on Mount Sinai. And when Jesus died on the cross, that freed them from the law of Moses. And then when it goes on, it says, wherefore, my brethren, ye are also become dead to the law by the body of Christ, that you should be married to another, even to him who was raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit unto God. So you actually, when Jesus died on the cross, they died to the law of Moses, and now they're to be alive to Jesus who was raised from the dead. Yeah, that's what Paul's saying there. So that's a pretty big deal. That means the law of Moses died at the cross. And Jesus, it was actually Jesus that gave the law of Moses on Mount Sinai. And so the only way there is, and that's exactly why in Daniel it was prophesied that when the Messiah would be cut off, that the temple would be destroyed. Because you need a temple for the law of Moses. But when Jesus died, there's no need for the temple anymore, because you died to the law, and now you're supposed to accept the Messiah who raised from the dead, and you're to be married to him. So that's the only way. So just thought that I would share that with you. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.